good evening, good evening, good evening. The show will be starting in just a few moments. I'm taking care of some little buttons here so the show can go off without a hitch, we hope, and keep your fingers crossed. And a couple of things. If you are listening to this in replay, you can fast forward past this portion and just get right
Stay
into the
tuned.
show.
The show is about to begin.
And remember that anytime during the show, if you want to ask a question or post a comment, you are welcome to. If you want to come to the stage, you are also welcome to come to the stage. And it doesn't have to be on video. You could just have audio. And the easiest way to do that is just to hit the down towards the bottom of your screen. There should be a little round circle that either says comment or ask. If it says any one of those, all you have to do is press it and type in your comment and press send. That would be the easiest way to do it. And also, when you're in the show, if somehow my face does not fit the screen properly, it looks like it's zoomed
Stay
into
tuned.
me too
The
much,
show is about to begin.
just pinch the screen down, pinch it down, pinch it down, and I will come right into frame. And also, if you want to learn more about me, know that you can go to knowtoBestill.com, which is KNOW number 2 letter B still.com. And you can also hit the fortune cookie, which is the scroll of words that are going across the screen, and that will give you all my information also. So please stand by. The show will be starting in just a moment. It's me again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Poetic People Fighting Racism. Double PFR. Let's get this screen right a little bit. Yes, double PFR. And I'm your host, Anthony Cordova, Tony C., the man about love. Yes, I am. And I'm coming to you right here from Fireside, which is cool. Also, let me let you know. Here at Double PFR, we discuss racism and the caste system in the United States of America through poetry, through art, through music, using the voices of our souls, using the strength of our ancestors to heal the fractured country we live in and die in. Now here at Double PFR, all souls are welcome, all people are welcome. Welcome to discuss the racism we live in, so come on in. We'll put our arms around you, providing a safe place for you, a home to protect you, a place where you're surrounded by hope, where you're surrounded by compassion, where you're surrounded by empathy, forgiveness, and love. Surrounded by a lot of love, because I put a lot of love out all the time. So I'd love for you to come in with me, to stand by me, to see what we can do to change this country, to change the people that live in this country. So I welcome you to Double PFR with so much love, so much love. So welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Another night. Here we are. Another night. Another night. Another Saturday night. And I'm here again. I'm here again. Real quick, Jill, do we have anybody in the audience yet? I can't tell for sure. Who do we have?
I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, but Suzam BCP.
Suzanne?
Zam
Suzanne. Well, I hope I'm saying that.
BCP. I'm not sure
BC.
I'm saying
Yeah.
it correctly, and I
I'm not.
apologize
I don't
if
even
I'm
want to
not.
screw it up more than I already have. So, but welcome. I'm glad you're here. And if you're new to this show and this is the first time you're seeing it, um, I'm Anthony Cordova. I'm a spoken word artist, and I've written a book of poetry, actually a manuscript. I haven't even tried to get it published yet, called Living and Dying. And that manuscript covers the racism and caste system in the United States. Now, I provide a safe place here. So there's no hatred going on here. There's only love. There is no question that's a bad question or a stupid question. I am willing to answer any question that's in my power, and I will truly try to do that. As I said pre-show, a good way to find out more about me is through the website, which is knowtoBestill.com, which is KNOW number two letter B still.com. Or you can just tap the fortune cookie, the scroll of words going across the screen, and that will bring up all of the information. Now, the title of this episode is Follow the White Brick Road. So I'm going to do a poem that makes reference to that in the beginning, but it goes into some other things too. And I will typically discuss that poem after I do it, unless I do another poem first. So we'll see how that goes. And remember, anytime you wish, just hit the ask button or the comments button, whichever one is there, if you have a question or a comment. And I'm always happy if you hit the applause emoji. So there's three emojis across the bottom that you can use at any time during the show, and that is the clap, the laugh, and the party sounds. And we will see it, and you will see it, and we will hear it, and it pops up on the screen. So I'll know you're there. And so instead of hearing crickets, which is cool, they'll like to hear crickets. And I'm like, oh, nobody's there. But even when nobody's there, the show must go on. So I still continue. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to bring up? Yes, again, I'm going to bring up if I am not fitting your screen properly, just pinch it down, pinch it down, pinch it down, and I will come right into frame. Because I don't want you to have to look at me like this, the whole time, and that's what it would look like. So we don't want that. Not at all. Okay. Um I'm going to start doing this poem. The poem tonight is actually called Escalators. Um so I'm going to be doing that. But first, especially if you're new to the show, I make reference to the blue and white eyes. And the blue and white eyes is not necessarily people with blue and white eyes. The blue and white eyes refers to people of European descent that believe their blood is purer than anyone else's blood, and it makes them pure. So they believe they have this pure blue blood running through their veins that makes them superior to anyone else. And the white part refers to seeing the world or seeing this country through the mind of a white person in this country. And that's basically it. Quite often, these are the people that are in powerful positions or not, because they can do things to people of other colors or races just because they could be your boss, they could be a coworker or a colleague. It could be anyone that, for some reason, just doesn't like you. Because of the color of your skin or your nationality or anything like that. So now I will get right into this poem. And again, this is called Escalators, but it refers also right in the open of the poem to the title of this episode, which was Follow the White Brick Road. So here we go. We're going to cue up some music and get right into it. Wait, there's two things playing. There we go. In this country of lies, we travel white brick roads covered with cutting tongues and hateful stares, trying to find our place in the land of white dreams, reaching for something we thought we had in 1865, reaching for equality through freedom, searching for something we've never seen. It's like a dream black lives live in, not a dream we find good in. Every day we're living nightmares in this country of lies, black lives just living and dying from white lies. They kept us on escalators for most of our lives, leading us down to basements and dungeons overrun with hatred and racism and layers of abjectation and degradation. Escalators made designed to run us down, to wear us down till we don't know whether we're facing up or facing down. We run for our lives, trying to reach up to true freedom, to come up to the light, to rise up from the darkness of oppression, from the hatred of racism. This is the view of black lives while we live and die, just trying to survive, just trying to make it without dying. Just trying to make it without our brothers and sisters dying. Just trying to make it without our fathers and mothers dying. Just trying to make it without our children dying before lying in little graves from the racist minds we live and die from in this country of lies. They kept us on escalators for most of our lives, leading us down, pulling us down lower and lower into the muck and mud, into the puke and crud this country has made for us to live in, to swim in. But we keep breathing and living and coming and growing smarter and stronger the longer they try to lead us down, to pull us down into the darkness of subjugation, into the cruelty of domination. A nation made from the creation of white dreams and enslaved souls, the days of old, good old boys in white robes and hoods that stood for the hatred of black lives in this country of lies. We see the blue and white eyes for the lies they tell black lives. We see their demise for the lies they tell about God's laws. We see their days growing weaker as we grow closer. We count the days their demise is coming for the lies they believe in, for what they've done to our black lives in this country of lies. Their demise is coming from the pain they inflicted on our lives. They kept us on escalators for most of our lives, running us down, keeping us down. Do you see? We're flipping the switch from down to up, riding up in the right direction, up from the darkness of oppression, up from the hatred of racism. This day has been coming. The day is here now. Their demise is coming for making racist laws to be above God's laws. Their demise is coming. Their demise is coming. Okay. That was that. That's a pretty heavy one. And usually I go back through this poem from the beginning to the end, and I explain, and thank you, I explain what I meant by some of the phrases in here. Now, also, always want to let you know that I don't preach hatred, and I'm all about love, and we really do need to learn to love each other. So when I wrote this poem, and specifically when I talk about the demise, I am not talking about an uprising at all. So I'm going to start first by explaining what I meant when I talked about demise of the blue and white eyes, so I can be clear on that from the beginning. So let me find the line. Okay, right here. We see their demise for the lies they tell about God's laws. So quite often people will take phrases from the Bible and say things like, God wanted us to enslave Africans. They said God wanted us to do it. Now, in the Bible, yes, many uh, countries, many places have enslaved another group of people, but in the end, it was always wrong. Always wrong. Now, when I talk about the demise, it's not something that I have to do or you have to do. See, because all of this, people in the black people that were enslaved in this country, and and not just black people, but actually people of color in this country uh, today. Today, anyone of color in this country um, gets treated differently. Okay, so now let's take this descendants of slaves like me. Okay, we are still being subjugated. So we had 256 years of straight slavery, until 1865. But then even after that, we had the Ku Klux Klans, and then we had government, city government, state government, county government, also still keeping us in place, keeping us subjugated. So 100 years now, in this country, we have been under the thumb of a system that is designed to try to keep us in place. So we're talking about red lines. Red lines is where a city or real estate agents would, and it's usually in conjunction with the city or the county, decide where people of color could live. Okay, so and if people of color lived in that area, the property values were also brought down. Okay, so these things happen all the time. They still happen today. They still exist. Okay, so over 400 years, there's like no other group of people that have been subjugated like this ever. And we're still being subjugated. So this is of biblical proportion, okay? So I don't have to do anything. I'm going to do what I do, and it may be long after I'm gone, but we'll see what happens. So that's what I mean when I say their demise is coming, because you can't keep where we can go and where we can't go. And when we deviate from that white brick road, that is when things get difficult. And things are difficult for us often, quite often on a daily basis. So, we're on this white brick road, and, we're encountering uh, cutting tongues. So these people are saying things to just be hurtful to us, and just saying hateful type of things. Um, and in the land of white dreams, we're not in the land of Oz. That's for sure. We're in the land of white dreams. So that American dream that everyone talks about. I want to live the American dream. I want to live the American dream. Everybody wants to live the American dream. You come from another country, you want to live the American dream. But the American dream was actually designed for people that are white to live that American dream. Anyone else that wants to live that American dream, it's going to be pretty difficult. Difficult to get a good mortgage, difficult to live in a good neighborhood, difficult to go to a good public school because the public schools are tied to the neighborhood you live in. Okay, so if you live in a lower income neighborhood, you're going to go to a low performing school. Unless your parents are rich and can afford to send you to a private school somewhere else, but you want to rise up. You want to rise up. But this country has created a system that kind of just keeps us going in a downward direction. Now, if you have ever tried to go up on an escalator that's going down, it is extremely difficult. Extremely. I mean, you got to work 3 times as hard to go up on a down escalator. So I feel like people of color in this country are been put on that down escalator, and it just keeps pulling us down. And if we just stand there, it's going to take us all the way down, all the way. So we always have to fight to rise up, to do better in life. Many of you, if you are a person of color, have heard from your parents and your relatives that if you are a person of color in this country, you have to work twice as hard or 3 times as hard to get to the same place a person that is white would have to do. And that is true. That is actually true. We do have to work 2 and 3 times as hard to make it to the same spot, to make it to the same income, to make it to the same neighborhood. If you're Asian, if you're African, from Africa, I mean, real African. If you are South Asian, same thing, same thing. If you have any color, if you're Egyptian, you got a problem here too. Anyone of color, you have a problem here. So just trying to survive. So you know that when you get pulled over by an officer, and maybe you were speeding, excuse me, maybe you weren't. Okay, all right, but you should be treated fairly, not like a criminal. When there's a minor infraction. And so many people end up dead. So many people of color end up dead from a minor infraction. Minor infraction. It's the truth. So we do want to just try to make it. We're just trying to stay alive without our relatives being killed, without our parents being killed, without us being killed. But then we look at even our children, even our young children, their lives are cut short. Some kids can just be playing. Kids can be playing cops and robbers. Many kids play cops and robbers, when they're young, or they might be playing because there was a high likelihood that you were going to get pulled over and harassed by a cop. Because if you're running, they assumed that you did something, that you stole something. Also, when I was a kid, cops used to think could be me and a couple of friends, and like we're like 12, 13 years old, and we can be walking down the sidewalk, maybe 3 or 4 of us, and a cop could come the other direction, and he would do a U-turn, drive down the sidewalk, up right behind us on the sidewalk to see if we'd run. Because if we ran, we did something. So this cop is almost ready to run us over, but we have to tell each other, don't run, don't run, don't run, don't run. No matter how scared we were that we were about to be run over by an officer. It's a horrible way to grow up. Horrible way to grow up. But then people try to tell us, oh, just forget about it. Don't worry about it. Why do you keep bringing it up? I keep bringing it up. One, because it's still going on. Two, but they want me to go back to Africa. I wasn't born in Africa. I didn't come. I wasn't born in Africa. So it doesn't make sense. Send me back to someplace I've never been. That's not sending me back. So, anyway, all of these things I tell you are true. So further on down here, I go, back into the escalators and how they keep pulling us down. But then I go into, excuse me, a nation made from the creation of white dreams and enslaved souls, the days of old, good old boys in white robes and hoods that stood for the hatred of black lives in this country of lies. Okay, so now this country was created on the backs of enslaved people, people that were forcibly taken away from the land they were born at, where they were born, and then brought here and enslaved and made to work for free. And I said this a couple of shows ago, but nowadays, today, in the times we live in now, there are politics because this country, as much as I love it, they paint a picture that this country is like perfect. This is perfect. Who wouldn't want to live here? But it's not perfect. There's no place that's perfect. And the way this country was created definitely wasn't perfect. Can you imagine today if you went and applied for a job and they said, hey, you got the job, but we're only going to pay you with food. That's it. And you're going to have to work 18 hours a day. And you're going to have to stay in this shack that you have to build with your own hands. And you can only eat the leftover scraps from your boss. Think about it. Think about it. Who would be happy with that? Certainly not me. Not me at all. So let me jump back to the good old boys. The days of old, good old boys in white robes and hoods that stood for the hatred of black lives in the country of lies. Now, during slavery, through violence. So if you know that if you look at a white person in the eye, you look at them just like anyone else. Hey, hi, how you doing? There's very high likelihood that you're going to get killed for doing that. This is after slavery. You will be lynched, and they will make an event out of it. Okay? This is after slavery. This is also during my lifetime. Okay? These things actually still happen. And quite often, when you hear of a black male just all of a sudden hangs himself from a tree, okay, in a public park, and they say it's suicide. Now, I'm not saying a black person never commits suicide, but one thing I can guarantee you 100%, a black person will never hang themselves from a tree. Never. They will not commit suicide that way. Never. They got a hold of this black guy and tied, I can't remember whether it was ropes or chains, but I think it was chains, to his ankles, attached it to the back of a pickup truck, and just drug him. Drug him so long and so hard that his body just kind of fell apart. Just fell apart. You know, and there and and if I remember correctly, they did catch the guys that did it. But you know, I may have to ask Jill, but I'm not sure that those guys even did any time. They didn't do any time. She's shaking her head. No, they didn't do any time. So there's many, 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 many cases of all of these things that still go on, and they can be swept under the rug, or they'll make up a story that's not what happened. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jill, I was thinking of that story, Jill. But I'm not going to tell that story. I'm not going. Yeah, that will be here for a while if I tell that story, just like anybody else. But this is what I can do. Is what I can do to try to help create some change. So, and what you're doing is you're just here listening. And that's part of being an everyday activist also, because you don't have to be here. You don't have to listen to these poems. You don't have to listen to me talk about what goes on in this country. You don't have to be, but you are here, and thank you. And if this is all you can do, great. I'm not asking anything of you. If this is it, wonderful. But you may see some things a little bit different. When some things start happening, you may look at it a little bit different. You'll say, "Oh, wait a minute. I know what that is. I know what that is." Yeah, Tony talked about this in his show. I know what that is, where maybe before you didn't pay it any attention. And you may talk to someone else about it. Cool. It's good. That's how we make change. We have to talk. We have to have the conversations that we don't want to have. We have to do these things because, I guess, we make the more things the government now takes away from us. And again, I'm not going to go into exactly what is being done, the rights that are getting taken away from us, because again, that's a conversation that will be for hours. I can do a whole show. But yes, we are losing ground, but we gain ground, and we lose ground, and we gain ground, and we lose ground. But it doesn't mean we're gonna stop. Every person of color that was born in this country understands that. Every person of color understands that we're not truly equal citizens. Not truly. Because at any given moment, somebody will call us the N word. At any given moment, what we all call a Karen will try to get us arrested just for walking in the park because they don't feel we should be there. And actually, 7 tires. They even slashed his spare that was on the boat. Okay. These things don't happen to people that are white. It just don't. Unless they specifically get in a fight with somebody that doesn't like them. But these things, I'm telling you, are unprovoked things. It's strictly because of the color of our skin. And it's not right. We have to create some change. I have to. All right, and that brings that poem to an end. And I don't even need to do another poem tonight. That should do it. So for everybody that was here, I'm thankful that you were here, and I'm going to start closing out the show. I'm going to find some music. Do I have outro music for this show? No, I don't think so. Just regular music. Yes. So the other poem I'm not doing tonight because I've talked quite some time. So I do want to remind everybody before I leave to be an everyday activist. I want you to remember to be love and show love. I also want you to do something different. Do something different in your life, in your day. Go to work in a different direction. Help somebody. And the music I played during the poem I did was called Traffic by Boom Bap. Yeah. Also, my next show is episode 20, and that's on September 30th. And the title of that episode is Hate Me, Love Me. Hate Me, Love Me. Hate Me, Love Me. Let's figure out which is better. I think I know the answer to that. So I'm going to start closing this out. I'm going to turn off the video. And again, everyone that was here in the audience live, thank you so much for being here. For those of you that have listened to this show on replay, thank you. And I would love to see you in the show live. I always love it when people are here live. So I'm going to turn off the video. Yes, I did that very well, like a pro. And now I'm going to try to end the show in that